In my video yesterday, I was talking about how Bitcoin was stuck in this, what looks to be a bull flag. And when I recorded that video, it looked like we might be getting ready to break out to the upside, but we got rejected again at this downward trending resistance line and came back down to the bottom of the trading channel, hitting a low of $60,000 pretty much evenly. And in my video before that, I was talking about how the floor production cost is going to pretty much double during the halvening, which is going to bring this up by 100%, and that basically represents the floor price for wherever Bitcoin could go. Right now, that would set the floor at about $60,000, but of course it could wick below that, and we already did hit it once. But as long as we don't start closing candles below that level, then I think we might have actually reached a floor, even though most people are still expecting us to have somewhat of a decline. And while that doesn't mean that we're going to bounce and go straight up from here, we could trade sideways, but I don't think we're going to be making any more significant lows here, and we've probably already fulfilled most of the retracement that we're going to see. The reason why we started to see that retracement is because GBTC outflows reached a record outflow level, with them selling $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin yesterday, according to BitcoinETFFundFlows.com. It looks like I might not be the only one who thinks that we probably can't go much lower, because according to Bitcoin Archive, it looks like MicroStrategy now owns a whole 1% of the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be issued. They now own 214,246 Bitcoin in their corporate treasury. And it looks like it's not just all of these ETFs and Michael Saylor that's scooping up the Bitcoin. According to this article on CNBC, it looks like the world's largest pension fund might actually start adding Bitcoin as an investment. It says Japan's government pension fund on Tuesday said it's requesting information on illiquidity assets, such as what the fuck? Illiquidity assets. So-called illiquidity assets such as Bitcoin as a part of a research into potential new investment. The government pension investment fund of Japan is looking for information about assets such as Bitcoin and how these might be incorporated into the portfolio of pension funds. What a garbage fucking article. How much do they manage? According to Forbes, it looks like they have 225 trillion Japanese yen worth of assets under management, which amounts to approximately $1.5 trillion as of December 2023. That CNBC article was pretty much garbage and they didn't have any of this information, but I'm pretty sure that the pension fund is looking at investing 1% of their assets under management into Bitcoin, and 1% of $1.5 trillion is $15 billion, which is just a start. I know adding just $15 billion to the over $1 trillion market cap of Bitcoin doesn't sound that significant, but that's just one investment into Bitcoin, and that's going to trigger a bunch of other pension funds to do the same thing. Bitcoin has already seen more than a $4,000 price swing today, and it looks like the volatility might just be getting started because we have an FOMC statement today. It looks like there's a 99% chance that the Fed is going to continue with the pause on their rate hikes, and we're not expecting our first rate cut until probably June, with only a 60% chance that they're going to do a cut of 25 basis points. So everybody's going to be looking forward to Jerome Pal's speech today and to see if he's going to be mentioning any kind of rate cuts that might be possible, or any kind of economic instability that might actually cause him to do more of an expedited rate cut than he's expecting to at the time. And if he doesn't say anything different than he's said in his last 5 meetings or something, then we're probably not going to be seeing any volatility coming out of this today. But there is an opportunity for him to say something that we're not expecting, and that could send the price of Bitcoin and other assets going to the upside again. Jerome Powell probably isn't the biggest news story of the day, though, because BlackRock is overshadowing him just like they are for the rest of the market. And according to this article on Cointelegraph, it looks like BlackRock has begun an asset tokenization with the launch of a digital liquidity fund for Ethereum. It says BlackRock has filed with the US SEC a Form D for the BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund. This marks the launch of BlackRock's first tokenized asset fund. This is pretty interesting because Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, has been talking a lot recently about the tokenization of everything. It says, according to the filing, BlackRock created the fund in 2023, but it's yet to launch. The fund will have a minimum of $100,000 investment and be offered by Securitize, a U.S. digital asset security firm. The form shows $525,000 in sales commissions and indicates the size of the fund as indefinite. The fund will be tokenized on the Ethereum blockchain with an ERC20 token called BUIDL, or BIDL, I guess. Maybe build? I think they're going off of the HODL thing and then making it build. But anyway, it says it currently has one holder and $0 on chain market capitalization. The website also indicated that the fund received a transfer of $100 million on March 4th. So I went over to Etherscan and I looked up the token, and there it is. It says the max total supply is 100 BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, which doesn't make that much sense. And if it received $100 million, then I don't know why it's got $0 on chain, but maybe that's because the circulating supply is nothing. I mean, I guess that makes sense, because if there's $100 million in there and then you multiply that by 0, then that will give you the market cap, which is 0. And obviously this thing hasn't been launched yet and there's only one holder. And I don't think this is probably going to be available on exchanges or anything, but there's not very much information about this. And it only gets a little more confusing from there, because if you keep an eye right here on the token contract, you can see that they just recently changed the name to 100 SSTG, or Saratoga coin, which I don't know what relevancy that has to BlackRock, but Saratoga I think is a city in New York. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this situation though, and hopefully there's going to be more details coming out soon. But BlackRock usually gets what they want from the SEC, so I'm sure this thing's probably going to be approved eventually. It looks like the community's probably pretty skeptical about it being approved right now anyway, because it's not enough to push up the price of Ethereum, and it looks like the whole market's probably just waiting on Bitcoin to break out of this trading channel right here, because like I keep saying, all of these institutional investors are leading the show right now. And I guess people just aren't going to be getting that excited about an Ethereum BlackRock fund if the Bitcoin fund that they already have isn't pushing the price up currently. Larry Fink said something really interesting this morning to do with tokenizing everything, and I think it really is revealing on how this whole thing is going to develop and what direction cryptocurrency technology is going to be maturing in over the next couple of years.
We believe it's so important to be anticipating the next move. I would also say on the beginnings of a ETF Bitcoin, we believe ETFs are a technology no different than Bitcoin was a technology for asset storage. We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities around bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we could customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own share.
That does seem a little bit scary, and of course they want more control and they want to keep an eye on everything that you're doing. But it would be really great to know that JP Morgan and people like that can't get away with manipulating stuff like silver. I'm sure they would still find a way though, but I think we should take this just one more step further, and we should tokenize the government as well so that we can eliminate corruption. If we could see where all of this money is being laundered that's supposed to be going to Ukraine and stuff like that, then I think people would probably be less supportive of sending more money overseas instead of supporting our own country. That's just the tip of the iceberg though, because obviously there's way more corruption in pretty much every piece of the government, and if we could just tokenize them and see all of the money that's going around, and if we could see who's really paying people like Elizabeth Warren's bills through lobbying, then maybe we could cut down on the corruption, and I think that's one of the most promising things that cryptocurrency technology can offer us. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should we actually tokenize the government, or would they figure out a way to be corrupt anyway? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. But most importantly, don't forget to do only good every day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.